So much, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to discuss. If he hadn't brought it up, I wanted to. We knew pretty much from the vetoes that they were going to play some maps that they weren't as comfortable with. Yeah, the map 4, the one I thought they were going to pretty much bang Epsilon on, they don't. But Burns, thank you for joining us first and foremost. Burns from United. We have a little bit of a change here on the desk, but I want to get your opinion as a former player, manager. What do you think about the logic there from LG to try and mix up the maps a little bit against practicing?
I think it's really smart. They obviously are in a comfortable spot. Same with Envy. I think they can take some risk and play some maps that maybe they can throw off in future series against top caliber teams. And overall, I mean, they probably only have to win like 2 or 3 more series. They
more than likely.
Exactly. So they're definitely in a good spot to take some risk and try some new things out.
Well, they definitely try some new things out. Momo, you heard talking to Slack on Hot Mic about with the way the vetoes are with Valkyrie added to it, you really need to be if you're not strong on every map and mode, you need to be good on most, for sure. What were your thoughts overall on them trying to mix it up a little bit with some maps they don't usually play?
I think it's definitely wise to do so. And we talk about a team like LG, who is, a top caliber team. Yes, you can maybe have a sloppy map here and there, but you need to be good on every single map, every single mode. You might have a weak one. You're going to have a weak one. But LG, this is what I expected. I expected, a high slaying game from LG, 250 to, 150 basically. It was a dominating performance.
If I remember correctly, I talked to Slack before going into the Optics series in Atlanta, and he mentioned, he's like, hey, this is the first time we're playing Valkyrie Harpoon on LAN. And they look dominant. Here, they do the same. You see John going off with 26 kills. They absolutely dominate them there in operations. 99-2 is the advantage. For you, what makes this a strong hardpoint team?
To be honest, I mean, you have John and Slack, 2 heavy slayers. You have Octane and JCap. It's overall like a perfect team in my opinion in terms of like balance.
It's got a bit of everything, right?
Exactly. And it was actually funny for us. Like we were dominating every single team online, and then we tried, playing the card of trying to switch things up and play Valkyrie on WAN at Atlanta, and it didn't really work out in our favor. So yeah, it's cool to see.
Yeah, no, it is, and we'll see if they can continue to improve. Now, I want to talk a little bit about then the game 2 as we're going to head in and look at some of the highlights from this one. Momo, this is one where Epsilon come out very hot. You heard JCap frustrated with their performance on docks, but what worked for Epsilon in this game too, man?
Again, it's Epsilon. I think this kind of refreshing start from adding Reedy to the roster. I can see straight away that there's a difference there's a game plan. The Search and Destroy seems to have a plan. It seems to be like they know what they're doing, and I think that is mainly coming from Reedy. I've obviously not heard the comms in Search and Destroy as of yet. But
he has to be helping.
Reedy's the type of player, and he has always been the type of player when even teaming with like Rated or other people who may be above him, he's always been that leader, that figurehead. So Reedy will be the one kind of directing the plays here, and I think that's taken a lot of the stress maybe off the other players. I think Reedy individually did have a good map as well, which always helps. Streaks as well. It's nice to see, it's refreshing to see, but this was one of the maps where I was thinking Luminosity, London Docks, S&D, this has been out from the start, these guys are going to nail it, and very surprisingly, they kind of get bodied on it.
Oh yeah, it's a 6-1. I know you've had, I think Brian Saint working with the guys a little bit on the United with their Search and Destroy, you have the Cadets as well. Their Search gameplay for you hasn't been the best as of late. Is there anything, they've been working on a map like Docks? I saw them playing a lot, I mean, that's where Toronto kind of fell apart for them, I believe, in the game 5.
Yeah.
That's something your guys are working on at all?
Yeah, we have a lot of utilities around the guys. We're trying to obviously improve them in every way, shape, and form we can, but the Cadets bring a lot of good different strats to the table, and it's actually funny when our guys don't perform in Search. They're like, what are the Cadets doing? What are the Cadets doing? But overall, it's great, and I actually loved hearing the Epsilon guys up there. I thought the energy levels from this week compared to last week is completely different.
Reedy's going to help
and you can definitely see Reedy starting a lot of the engagements and starting the hype levels for the guys, and I really feel like they're working off of that energy a lot better than they were last week.
Absolutely. Well, we'll head to map 3 then. Flag Tower, another map that we haven't seen LG play a ton. Momo, they look fine here.
Yeah, they did. It took a while. It took, your standard Flag Tower CTF where it's going to take a few minutes to get a flag or two, but when they did, that's when they started to punish. I think John had a slow game. Oh, God, that's just...
Vortex had a pistol out, but still, yeah, that shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't. And it's one of those kind of maps where it spirals out of control. You get the flags, you get the score streaks, and at this point is pretty much done. I think again, this is a map and mode which we don't see a lot. So again, good practice not just for LG. This is great practice for Epsilon as a new roster. Getting this kind of under their belt is very important. And of course, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Epsilon, they're pretty much going to be in relegation. It's going to be very hard for them to avoid that. relegation is going to be teams which is not going to be the caliber of LG. They need to take all the positives that they can do, practice as much as they can, both on land, backstage, everything, scrim as well, and go into relegation just with the goal of getting back here next season. So this is a place where they can definitely improve.
It's not over until it's over, Momo.
Right?
I like that spirit. I like it.
Well, Burns, I want to talk to you a little bit about Cap. You saw he had like a 2.15 KD there. You know, he hasn't been required to be the main Slayer on the past Envy team or now on LG. You know, it was kind of the Apathy and John show at times, and now you take a look at it, it's been kind of the Octane and John most of the time. But John had a pretty off event in Atlanta. Yeah. JCap picked it up, and you saw him doing that in this series as well. Do you think there's any reason maybe why JCap's starting to just put up some bigger stats?
I mean, I think when your entire career is revolved around always making the right play, you're going to eventually start shining and seeing
true.
Maybe like flaws in your teammates and what you can really help out on bring a W in the game.
Well, they need him to. I mean, I think if he didn't play the way he did and you had John off in the capacity he was, you're not getting that third place finish more than likely at Atlanta. But now let's take it to the game 4. This is where you heard JCap was pissed. He did not like the way his team played. Epsilon kind of took it to them. Mama, what was working for Epsilon?
At the very beginning, having a hot start, having that kind of energy, and really rolling with it. And again, we heard, obviously it was in the studio, we heard the likes of Reedy kind of getting hyped about it. And that, people underestimate that, I think. People underestimate that energy that goes through a team when you're 40 points up, you've got just one set of score streaks. It makes everything a lot easier. Your confidence going into gunfights is a lot better. And you see things from Epsilon just challenging things that normally they wouldn't.
And Vortex played amazing. I mean, he was like highlight after highlight. Do you think maybe, I don't know, the energy from Reedy or a little leadership might be able to help in that capacity? Because we know he's capable. He did it last year, but we haven't seen it consistently this year. To do it on that map against a team like LG, what do you think's helping Vortex?
I think the new team. I don't want to kind of
the honeymoon period.
I don't want to give it just to Reedy, because what Reedy's doing is affecting all 3 players. So Reedy affecting Dave is then affecting Vortex. That energy is radiating through their team right now. I just hope that they can go kind of through this period, even though they're not picking up wins, they're picking up a lot of positives, and I hope they take that away and learn from it. I even saw on the last map kind of Reedy picking up different spots, which I'm sure we'll see. He's a leader, and he will kind of get them humped up, and I think he's that experience that they need, because it was just kind of 4 kids playing before, and now I feel like they've got a father figure.
Well, that's exactly what they may have needed. And Vortex, I think he had not only the 33 kills, but 161 seconds to go in the hard point as well. So you got to think his kills are very important too, because a lot of those going down in and around the hard point. But let's take a look at the all-important Game 5. We've had back-to-back Game 5s now in the series. I think, Momo, you're the one that picked. Were you the one that said Epsilon's winning this if it goes Game 5?
I basically said, why are we talking about a Game 5? We're not going there. But I kind of put a mocking joke on that if we do Game 5, Epsilon will easily take it, as clearly did not happen. I will retract that statement here. LG looked good. How good do they look? I think, again, they can definitely improve on this map, even though they take the victory. But I think every team's going to be like that. Valkyrie's a map which has been introduced. Yes, it's probably a month ago now, but it's not been really played up until of course, Atlanta and now. And I think we're going to see more and more of it come through this, because playoffs is coming up. If you can be an awesome S&D Valkyrie team, like slip it in, let it go through and take a W.
Well, Burns, can you speak to maybe what it's like as a player trying to deal with a new map in the rotation? Like when it comes in, is it like restarting, or the fact that you figured out the spawn mechanics a little bit, is it a little bit easier to hop into that particular map? What's it like kind of having a new one put in the rotation?
I think it helps out the game overall, and it helps out a lot of teams. Like if you don't have any strong maps at all, you can throw a curveball at a lot of teams. And on Momo's point, I think it's fair to almost guess like 50-50 for a lot of these teams, especially going into a map 5 like Valkyrie.
Yeah.
A lot of players haven't mastered the routes, the timings, the rotations on a lot of different situations, and even though they've probably played it like 30 to 40 times now, I feel like you really had to play a map close to 100 times to truly master like every little small second with your teammates.
Certainly. Well, let's